Hello. All right, so we're going to be reviewing a game today. My name's Austin. This is Trey. We like to review games based on actually having two players. So whether it's a one player, I or we will explain how it can be played as two players. And then we play games, if it's up to however many players, as two players. So this game, we're going to try to explain all the rules, and we're pretty sure that we have all the proper rules down, but there's some rules that aren't explained that well in the book, which we're pretty sure we have down pat now. So sorry if we don't go as in depth and we hit every single point, but we will certainly try. The game we're going to be playing is Inheritors. The king died, and you as an inheritor needs to gain favor and influence the different realms leaders to have them follow you, and you try to take over as the new king. That is done by getting the most victory points at the end of the game. I'm going to show you the setup for a two-player game, like I explained, and it's a little different for other player games. So there's 5. I'm going to do setup, then I'm going to do mechanics, and then a couple extra like gameplay and stuff like that. Maybe we'll play one real quick level round. So there's 5 different realms: yellow, blue, purple, green, red. You get rid of one of the realms to begin the game. Yeah, it's realms. This is the color. These are the clans. The wolf is the clan. The lynx is the clan. The rat. Each clan has realms has 2 different leaders, and you want to choose 4 different leaders, one from each color, the colors that you left in the game. So you're going to have those 4, and you're going to set them out in the game setup area, which is right directly in the middle of the board. Then you're going to have 6 of these. You're going to have 8 of these cards. These are called honors. You're going to choose 4 of these honors and place them, that's whatever that design is right there, a shield. You're going to place them with the other side, the number side, face up right above the leaders. You're going to choose 4 random ones after shuffling, place them there. Those are called honors. And then right above that, in the same setup area, you're going to choose 4 random quests. In those quests, there's 6 cards. You're going to choose 4 of them for a 2-player game. And they go with a quest. That's the scrolls. Here's the quest side face down, right above the honors. So you're going to have 4 separate columns, and it's going to be leader, honor, quest. And then what you do, I'm going to occasionally reference the rule book for wording. So what you're going to do is you're going to take all the cards that have numbers on them. That's the influence. And you're going to shuffle those with the 6 tomes, the 3 epics, 24 basic talents, into a single pile after you take out 1 from each color. So you're going to take out 4 1s. Something I didn't mention is not only do you get rid of one of the colored colored realms, but you get rid of all of the colored cards associated with that realm as well, and any actually any quests as well associated with that color, because the quests are achieving different numbered cards in your hand. So then you shuffle that into one big pile, and at this point you're going to have those 4 1s for a 2-player game still out. You're going to shuffle those together and give one of the 1s to each player. Then you're going to put those 1s back into the deck in any random spot. You can shuffle again if you want. But that ends up becoming your draw pile. That draw pile goes right below your game setup area, known as the market. So the market has a draw pile, a draw area, and then 3 separate columns, which I'll get to next. Next, what you want to do is you want to take that same draw pile and give each player 10 different cards.
The game references columns as rows, but it means up and down, not side to side.
All right, now we have 11 cards total, one of them being a 1. And you set this pile here as the draw pile. So, to begin, to finish the setup, you're going to take 3 top cards, and you're going to make 3 what the game calls rows, but they're columns. They're going to be up and down, and they're right here. Then you're going to want to separate. You should have done this at the beginning, but I didn't mention to shuffle this into the deck, so this actually would have still been separate. 5 special talents. So you're going to have an agent, a saboteur, a knight, and 2 ambassadors. And it doesn't matter how that is placed, because you can specially grab your item, your card out of it. But that goes in a pile to the right of the setup area. And then below that is where we play the remove pile, the removed cards pile, but you can place them anywhere that you feel comfortable. That is almost the last setup. You want to take 2 reference cards, one of them having a wax seal on the bottom, the other one being a plain reference card. You want to shuffle them together and blindly hand them out. Whoever gets the seal goes first. Now, I believe that is the complete setup, except the area right in front of you is now called your play area, right below the market on my side and right above the game setup on his side. Then you look at your hand, and we begin the mechanics of this game. So in my hand, I have a lot of numbers, I have some basic talents, and I have the Tome and Epic cards. The Tome and Epic cards, the way they play is actually, your game turn begins with you taking 1 action. The actions are all explained on this card here in that top half above my finger. You have 5 actions, I believe, that you can choose from, but you only take 1 action per turn. The last action there explains what your that you can use one of your basic talents abilities, and those basic talents are Advisor, Spy, and Lobbyist. Those would be cards that eventually end up in your hand from normal gameplay. That is explained down here at the bottom. And then you're going to have special talents, which are over here, that you pick up, and they're explained on the clan cards themselves. And the clans each have special abilities that you'll get when you pick up that specific card. Now, one of the actions, the first action, is you can play a number from your hand. The way this mechanic works is you're eventually lining up all these colors in numbered order right in front of your play area. So on my turn, if I did that action, I would take 1 green in this situation, and then now what happens is I can no longer play a 1 green again. You have to go in numbered order, and you can only have 1 row of each color. So I now have a 1 green. I can either play a green 2 or a 1 of any other color. You can't play a 1 green again, and you can't play a 3 green because you have to go in numbered order, unless you get one of the basic abilities, which I'll explain later. All right, so now that would be the end of your turn. That's 1 action. The other person goes. The second action is discard 1 card, and you draw 2 cards from the main deck. When you're discarding, you are placing the cards on one of the 3 columns in the market. So let's say I discarded one of my cards. Yeah, let's say I discarded the 3 purple because I don't need it at this point. You would place it in any one of the 3 columns, and then you would choose 2 from the deck. The third action is discard 1 card, take all cards over 1 row in the market. That's what this says. So we'll make this easy for you. There's a 4, and I guess I should have explained that. There's a 4 purple here, a 1 yellow, and now above the advisor card is a 3 purple. If I want to take that 1 yellow, I have to place either a 1 or a yellow anywhere on the other 2, or on either of the other columns. And then I can take every card in this column that I matched it to. So let's explain that a different way. There's 2 purple. There's 2 cards here. The top one's a purple 3. If Trey wanted that row, that column, he would place this purple 4 from his hand into one of the other columns, and he then takes both of those cards from that column and must replace. Every time you empty one of the columns, you must replace it from the draw deck. Fourth action is discard 3 cards of the same color. You take 1 quest and you draw 1 card. So he's got 3 blues. He plays them one by one as he chooses on each of the 3 columns, or all in one.
Yeah, so I can play them all in one spot, or I can put them and divvy them out if I want to.
Then he chooses 1 quest card, and at this point, that's where you grab the quest card. You keep that to yourself, and it'll have special objectives on it that when you meet those at the end of the game, you'll get a certain amount of victory points. We'll quickly go over how all the victory points works at the end of the game. You discard, then he draws 1 card from the top of the draw pile.
For what?
For that action. All right, play a talent. That is the last action that you can do. Remember, the talents are the basic talents in your hand. So if you use to spy, let's say I use that action, I use to spy, it explains on the bottom of the card exactly how you play a spy. If you play a spy, you can pick a player, that I would pick Trey, and announce a card that can be played by you in following number order. So let's say I play a spy in the removed cards pile, where those go, basic used cards, basic talents that are used go in the removed pile. And I've still got my 1 green over here. So I would say, Trey, do you have the next card that I can play? So in this case, that would be 1 of any of the colors, or a 2 green. So I would say, hey, Trey, do you have a 2 green? And he would have to tell you if he has it. So then you get to play that on the next on your pile, and that's the spy. The lobbyist, you can discard that from your hand during your turn and ask. In that way, I guess in this case you wouldn't, and you do want to separate them. That way everyone can see everything going on.
Yeah, and you don't discard; you remove them from play.
Yes, thank you. Now, if he had a 1 green on his side, and he had a 3 green, and on my side I still had a 1 green and a 2 green, so I have 1 card above his, he can use the lobbyist and skip the 2 and go straight to a 3. So that allows you to immediately jump up 2 victory points. Again, I'll explain that later. But same color with 1 point value above your card. You can skip that point value that is 1 above yours and jump to the next one. So
for an example, he has a 2 green, I have a 1 green. Instead of me having to play a 2 green in order, I can play a 3 green. So if he had a 3 green and I had a 2 green, I would be able to play a 4 green and not have to play the 3.
Now, normally when you pull a card from the market, you have to pull that very top card. No, it actually lets you pull the whole row.
You pull the whole row,
Yeah.
but it has to match the top card.
Yeah.
Or number, color, or name.
Yeah, or name. Now, the advisor basic ability, perfect. The advisor basic ability allows you, once you place that into the remove pile to play your action on your turn, allows you to choose any 2 random cards from the market anywhere. Top, bottom, left, right, anywhere you want, not the draw pile, from the market 3 columns. All right, so that's the actions. Now, we're going to explain how to get the leaders. So, on your turn, once you've got 3 numbers, so 1, 2, 3 of the same color, you can decide anytime during your turn, I think it's actually during the beginning or the end of your turn, decide to take that clan leader for yourself. So, I now have 1, 2, and 3 green on my side of the board. So what I do is I decide to take this green, the fox. And his ability says, when you play a number card of a color that you have not played yet, you may draw 1 card. So I've only laid green down. That means if I, during my action, do the first action,
He played a blue. He could play a blue 1, and that lets him draw a card because he's not played blue.
and then the secondary ability on his card says, when you discard, the color of your cards counts as any color. So earlier we were explaining the action where there's all blues right here on the board. That's the top card. So if I wanted to take that row, let's say I didn't have blues, I had a green and a purple. I can use my ability, which is active all the time, and consider this green a blue, place that down, take that row. And I want to explain these cards because that's where the directions actually don't really explain it that well. Some of the cards will say immediately. The links right here says immediately take all cards from one row in the market. Immediately means as soon as you pick up that card, that turn, you can do that ability. If they don't say immediately, they're ongoing, unless otherwise through common sense would not make sense. +2 tomes during scoring. That's only during scoring, it's not ongoing. This one does not say immediate, so anytime...
He's got 2 passes.
Yeah, he's got 2 passive abilities. And I think you can also play that at the beginning or the end of the turn. Now, the honor cards they have different objectives on them, and some of them are pretty Some of them are pretty self-explanatory, like this one, where you have to get 3 colors up to level 3 on your playing field. You grab this as soon as that objective is met, and then you take it. This card right here says you have the ability to choose, so when you play the spy, and you ask someone else to give you a card from their hand, once you've actually successfully got a 2 or higher, then you get this from the middle of the playing board. You put it on your side of the playing field to symbolize that you now have those points. You place your leader on your side of the board. You place your quests on your side of the board. Now, if you recall, one of the actions is playing 3 of the same color to the middle. I believe this can also be anywhere.
And when it says play, it means discard 3 cards.
Yeah. To any column, I believe. Any column, right?
Yeah, you can go any column, any sort of order.
And then you would take 1 quest. You would keep this to yourself. This says at the end, if you have 2 or more purples in hand, you gain 2 VPs. And again, I'll explain all the ways to get VPs at the end. That is the general gameplay. I don't think there's any other way to play the game. So you go through the game getting VPs. So the way you get these VPs is, we didn't explain relics. There's relics in the game that are going to be shuffled into this deck right here, your draw deck. One of the ways to get VPs is to have the highest number of a color and have that relic. That gives you a +1 point. If you have that relic, but you don't have the most influence in that realm, the most numbers of that color, then you get a -1 point. If you have the most tomes and epics count as tomes, you can get +3 points. Otherwise, you get +1 point.
If you're second. If you're playing with more than 1 person.
Yeah. Yeah, this is strictly for 2.
Yeah.
You don't get any points for having leaders, specific leaders. You just get that leader to yourself. No one else gets that leader. No one else can have that leader. That is your leader and your leader alone. No one else gets the other 2 leaders on a 2-player game. The honor cards each count as 1 point. The quests have their own goals to meet for it to count as 2 points. Otherwise, it counts as 1 point. And then this is where you rack up all the points, is right in front of you in your gameplay, all those numbers that you're placing down. The point of that is the highest number of each color is added up to equal those VPs added to your total VP score.
So if he had a 1, 2, 3 green on his side of the board, he only counts the 3 green
As 3
as
VP.
3 VP. And then the same with blue. Your highest number card of that color is what you add point value. Or
Is
VP.
there any other way to add VPs? Here, look
I don't
through it real
believe
quick.
so.
We'll get right to that because I want to keep this video going. Something I forgot to mention, when you're discarding colored cards and numbered cards, tomes and...
Nope, that's the only way to game.
Is it tomes and epics or just tomes?
Both.
Tomes and epics you can use as any number or any color and play in lieu of any number or color on the board to achieve your action. So if you needed, same as before, if you needed a 2 green to take this column, you would put a tome on another column and take all 3 cards from this column and replace it. Person with the most points at the end of the game wins. Thank you. Appreciate it. Peace out.